Meanwhile, retail earnings in focus. We've been bringing you a number of the retailers reporting earnings this morning. Big names like Lowe's, Target, Kohl's, Best Buy, all reporting their quarterly earnings this morning. And as you can see, the pre-market, they are all lower, despite many of them reporting better than expected numbers. We're watching a slew of major retailers, including Barnes & Noble, TJX Companies, and Ross, set to report in the next hour. And they, too, are down about 2% on average this morning in the pre-market. Joining us right now is the former CEO of Toys R Us, as well as the CEO of HBC, former Target Vice Chairman and Storch Advisor CEO Jerry Storch. Jerry, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, we've got all this weakness and uncertainty around the consumer and retail earnings. How do you characterize the consumer right now?
The consumer is not weak, and there's no uncertainty about that. This is the strongest consumer that we've seen in over a decade. Certainly the sales being reported by retailers are dream sales. They're sales like the good old days when it used to be impossible not to have a 4% comp, a 5% comp. That's not the problem. So the problems that we're seeing with these retailers is either something that has to do with all retailers, that is a lack of confidence in the future, where things are going, whether it's with trade or the economy or whatever, or some of the retailers we're seeing are seeing their margins crushed as they're buying the internet sales to compete with Amazon, and the profit formula is under massive pressure. And we did see that with Target's report this morning.
Oh, so that's it. It's really a margin issue, and they're trying to compete and do digital as well as Amazon, not necessarily the strength of the consumer.
I started Target.com, by the way. I still own Target stock from being vice chairman there. And, we had to compete against Amazon. And what's funny is if we did everything exactly the same as Amazon, we get punished because we wouldn't make any money, just like Amazon doesn't make any money in a lot of the internet fulfillment. So when bricks and mortar retailers at the beginning weren't willing to make the massive investments to compete with Amazon, they let Amazon grow.
So who are the ones you think are doing it right and who's stumbling?
Well, there's a lot of people doing it very well, and I think Walmart is clearly the big competitor to Amazon in the future, and it's going to be those two dragons going after each other for dominance on the U.S. retail stage at a minimum, if not globally eventually. So they're clearly doing it right. I think Costco is fantastic because Costco's value proposition is so superb that people come for the savings, all income levels. They actually have a higher income shopper than any of these other guys, And people love Costco, great deals, and you can't beat it because you buy in bulk there. So they're doing fantastic. The off-price, I expect to see great numbers, at least on the sales line of the off-price guys today. TJ Maxx, Burlington Coat Factory, they call it Burlington now, Burlington stores, but Ross. These are going to have great numbers. So people who offer the customer value are doing tremendously well.
How do you feel about inventory levels, though? Because we saw, you looked at Nordstrom, you looked at Dillard's, Target even today. Inventory is up, but part of that is because retailers were ordering things ahead of these tariffs going into place. Maybe that's a concern for margins.
I'm not worried about the inventory levels. The sales are so strong; they're going to sell through that inventory. That's really not a long-term problem.
Apple? Apple inventory was up 89%.
Now we're at a retail and into tech stocks. Totally different story about
isn't that going to be one of the biggest retail products that people are going to buy for the holidays?
Well, it's a question of what, right. But that's whether or not people are buying phones. If you're a versus other consumer products, you're buying Apple phones versus other types of phones. If you're Target or Walmart or anything, you have a whole assortment of products. I remember at Target we used to use pre-recorded music as a big traffic driver, and then we realized in the 90s that was going to go away because if you can digitize it, it's going to the internet. So we said, what are we going to do? Oh my gosh, we're going to lose it. So you sell something else. So these big stores, big department stores, mass merchants can sell other products. Apple basically is dependent on the phones, and as that goes, so they go. That doesn't mean the consumer's not strong. Consumer's spending their money elsewhere.
Boy, you're not worried about inventories in retail, generally speaking, then?
No, I'm really not. I mean, individual companies, of course, because their product may be out of fashion or may not hit the mark. It's not like people aren't doing things poorly, which is not a question you ask. Some are.
So tariffs. Looking at the future, say we go 25% in January instead of 10. What's that going to do to their margins and to prices that consumers face next year?
I believe that's very unclear. It depends a little bit on what alternatives are available in terms of alternative sources of supply, and also depends on what categories you're operating in. Many right now, a lot of retailers depend very heavily on China to source their products. There's absolutely no doubt about that, and they've shown little desire to move the bulk of that away. But there are alternatives. India, other Southeast Asian countries, North Africa, et cetera, for apparel. So there are options, but you can't move them overnight. So the real question is, if you're a retailer, can I move quickly enough? Can I be better than my competitor, which is really all that matters? And whether I am or I'm not, when the prices go up, can I pass along to consumers? And I think for the retailer, this may not be a big loss at the end of the day.
The question is do you start moving and changing your supply chain and moving your manufacturing and your sourcing based on the actions of essentially one man in the White House and the administration, because again, it's not a job for life. So do you make that decision if you know an election's coming up in less than 2 years? And I'm not making predictions. I'm just saying that that's part of the equation.
For quite some time, retailers have been developing and branded product manufacturers alternative countries to go to. I mentioned some of them just now, particularly for apparel other than China, not because of tariffs, but because of the sense that eventually what would happen is what always happens, which is China would no longer be the lowest cost producer, and so it would migrate to the next country. So there is some opportunity to do that regardless. But China is just so darn big that right now I think most people are kind of hoping it doesn't happen. Or that'll be a solution that other than having to move all that production. So
Black Friday is this Friday. It's only Tuesday, but obviously this is a big holiday coming up. Yeah. We got people lining up already so that they're in place when the stores open on Black Friday. What kind of a Black Friday are you looking for?
I think it's going to be tremendous. Every year Black Friday has grown, and every year people say, "Oh, Black Friday is not going to be so good. People don't like waiting in lines." Halderbosch or whatever. That's not true. People love Black Friday. They love going out. And now a lot of it's on Thursday. People say, "Oh my gosh, don't open on Thursday."
That's terrible. They hate their families, Jerry. That's why they want to get out of the house. It's not that they love shopping. They really can't stand their Aunt Myrtle.
And this year they'll be talking politics.
I have been in 100 lines on Black Friday, looking at consumers, talking to them. People are happy. They're having fun. It's a form of entertainment, and it is not going away.
So shopping malls are going to be with us forever?
Oh, they're going to change. So the best shopping malls, the A malls, are migrating very rapidly. I'm sure you have malls near you that are like that, with really nice restaurants, alternative forms of entertainment, little specialty shops that are not quite the big old department stores. What's going to change is that these big hulking department store anchors are in big trouble. So you see, Sears is basically gone. Penny's that report last week was devastating. I mean, it was not good. So they're
really bifurcated.
They're in big, right? Of course.
The anchors now are like Cheesecake Factory and Dick's Sporting Goods,
and the movie theater,
right?
And healthcare, lots of healthcare,
right? And by the way, I just want to point out, Aerie, which is part of American Eagle, is the best store. That is going to be. It's for women. It's like underwear, essentially.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because another big theme in retail is that those who are vertical, who make their own products, who design, manufacture, and source their own products, they have a huge margin pool to play with, and it can't be competed away by Amazon, because Amazon won't carry it unless they sell it to them.
Wow.
So it really pays off to be vertical like that, and to have a distinctive competence, a distinctive skill, and to do it well. You can make money no matter what.
By the way, we all miss Toys R Us. Everybody's trying to buy their assets right now.
Yeah.
I mean, what a shame.
It is a shame. I think you're going to see a lot of that product picked up. I think that's one of the reasons why Target's going to have a great Christmas. Yeah. Walmart's going to have a great Christmas.
Get the toys.
Amazon's going to have a great Christmas. There's toys, babies, video games business that has to go different places. Yeah. It's billions of dollars thrust back onto the market. I wouldn't want to be a toy manufacturer this year, because it won't all be recovered. But it's going to be a great time for the former competitors.
Jerry, it's great to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for your insights.
Sure.
Great insights from Jerry Storch this morning.